The Stoics were adamant about the importance of choosing our associates wisely. They warned that certain people can inflict serious harm and burden our lives. Today, we'll delve into 15 types of individuals that Stoicism cautions us against. If you observe anyone in your life exhibiting these detrimental behaviors, it's imperative to take swift action and remove them from your life. Before we delve into these 15 types, I want to express my gratitude for tuning in. Your support means the world. If you find this content valuable, please consider liking and subscribing. By subscribing, you'll stay updated with our latest Stoic insights. Now let's explore these 15 types of people Stoicism warns us about. Number 1, the flatterer. One type of toxic person Stoics warn us about is the flatterer. These individuals shower us with insincere praise and compliments, not out of genuine admiration, but because they have ulterior motives. They seek to gain our favor through excessive flattery. Stoicism advises us to be wary of flatterers and to see through their attempts to manipulate us with false praise. While a sincere compliment is appreciated, when someone heaps unrealistic praise upon us, it's likely they have an agenda. The flatterer may be seeking to gain our favor to ask for a favor, to gain power or influence, or simply to boost their own ego by winning our admiration. Whatever the flatterer's aim, their excessive praise is a tool they use for their own benefit, not a true reflection of our merits. Stoics caution us not to be deceived by these tactics. We should question the motives behind exaggerated flattery and be careful not to place too much trust in their words or give in to their desires. Insincere praise serves us no purpose. The wise approach is to see through the flattery and understand the flatterer's true intentions. By remaining vigilant and discerning, we can avoid being manipulated and maintain our integrity and self-respect. Number 2, the greedy. Another toxic personality type the Stoics warn us to be wary of is the greedy. These individuals are consumed by material desires and the pursuit of wealth, which clouds their judgment and character. For the greedy, accumulating money, possessions, and status symbols is the primary driver in life. They constantly crave more, never feeling they have enough, even if they are already rich. Their greed knows no bounds, leading them to scheme, exploit, and step on others to gain more wealth and possessions. They view life as a zero-sum game, believing that more for them means less for everyone else. The greedy are unwilling to share because they want everything for themselves. Their insatiable greed also makes them profoundly insecure, as no amount of wealth is ever enough to satisfy them. The Stoics recognize that greed stems from a mindset of scarcity, where the greedy are never content because they always feel they lack something. This mindset destroys their peace of mind and integrity. The Stoics advise us not to be consumed by greed. There is great freedom in being satisfied with having enough and focusing on things of true value, such as character, wisdom, and serenity. The greedy have a distorted set of priorities, prioritizing money and possessions over virtue and tranquility. Their judgment is compromised by endless cravings. Stoicism warns us not to emulate the greedy or envy their wealth, as more does not equate to better. Fulfillment comes from within, not from external gains. It's essential to prioritize what truly matters in life and not be swayed by the allure of material wealth. Number 3, the envious. Another type of toxic individual the Stoics advise us to avoid and not emulate are the envious. These are people who resent the talents, successes, or possessions of others and are continually jealous of what others have. The envious feel that another person's good fortune comes at their expense. They operate from a mindset of scarcity, assuming life is a zero-sum game. So, when someone else gains something, they think it means less for them. This mindset breeds resentment, insecurity, and animosity within the envious. They act out of these feelings by trying to undermine those they envy. The envious person will attempt to belittle others' talents, dismiss their success as luck or privilege, and spread nasty rumors. Basically, they try to cut down people they see as above them. Envy also makes the envious person spiteful. They can't stand seeing someone else get ahead, so they try to spoil it rather than find inspiration in others' accomplishments. The envious person's jealousy leads them to make snide remarks, deliver backhanded compliments, and secretly revel when the envied person faces misfortune. The Stoics recognize envy as a type of involuntary moral weakness stemming from a lack of wisdom. But they emphasize that we can choose whether or not to act from envy. The wise course is to view others with goodwill and celebrate their successes, not resent them. We should be inspired by others' talents to cultivate our own virtues rather than falling into envy's trap. Instead of being jealous of others, we should use their successes as motivation to improve ourselves and strive for our own accomplishments. Number 4. The angry. The Stoics caution against the chronically angry, individuals prone to frequent rages, bitterness, and desires for revenge. Their temper overpowers reason and judgment, leading to impulsive and often destructive behavior. Easily set off by minor provocations, real or imagined, the chronically angry interpret others' actions in the worst light possible, quick to take offense and slow to forgive. They harbor grudges, nurturing a sense of resentment and entitlement, believing they are owed more by the world. Rooted in thwarted desires and a feeling of helplessness, their anger becomes a tool for control, albeit a self-destructive one. It clouds their ability to think clearly, leading to rash decisions and harmful actions. The Stoics advise against emulating such behavior. While anger may arise involuntarily, they remind us that we have a choice in how we respond. They advocate for pausing to gain perspective when provoked, avoiding actions driven by fleeting emotions. Living with reason and self-control, rather than succumbing to anger, is the Stoic way. By focusing on understanding and managing our reactions, we can avoid being controlled by our emotions and live a more fulfilling life. Number 5. The complainer. The Stoics caution against the chronic complainer, a personality type characterized by perpetual negativity and a penchant for criticism. These individuals find fault with almost everything, from the weather to the government, their job, and their relationships. Minor imperfections loom large in their eyes, overshadowing any positives. Rather than taking constructive action to address their grievances, complainers prefer to whine and play the victim, often seeking sympathy and attention from others. This attitude breeds negativity, dragging down not only themselves, but also those around them. Complainers fail to realize that their constant venting only reinforces their unhappiness, creating a toxic mindset that hinders personal growth and improvement. The Stoics advise against emulating such behavior, emphasizing the importance of focusing on what can be controlled and taking constructive action in the face of difficulties. While hardships are inevitable, how we choose to respond to them determines our level of resilience and wisdom. Instead of dwelling on grievances, it is far wiser to make the best of our circumstances and strive for positive change. Number 6. The self-pitying. The Stoics caution against the self-pitying individual who indulges in a constant state of misery and portrays themselves as victims of circumstance. These individuals refuse to take responsibility for their situations, blaming others, fate, or the universe for their troubles. Their mentality of poor, pitiful me fosters feelings of powerlessness and resentment. They expect others to coddle them and make things right, often seeking sympathy and reassurance through tales of woe. By portraying themselves as victims, they avoid accountability and the need to take action to improve their situations. This self-absorption also leads to a lack of compassion for others' struggles. The Stoics warn against this mindset of self-pity, advocating for a balanced view of life's challenges. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, they advise focusing on what can be controlled and building resilience. Adversity is a natural part of life, and how we choose to respond to it determines our growth and character. Rather than portraying ourselves as victims, we should approach challenges with maturity and a proactive mindset. As Marcus Aurelius noted, each day brings its own challenges, and it is up to us to face them with strength and resilience. Number 7. The arrogant. Stoicism warns against the toxic personality of arrogance. Arrogant individuals possess an inflated sense of self-importance and superiority over others. They are blinded by excessive pride, unable to see their own flaws or true standing. Arrogant people presume they are always right, the best at what they do, and deserving of special treatment. They believe in their superior talents, intelligence, status, and entitlements. This leads them to talk down to others and dismiss advice or criticism as beneath them. Their attitude breeds intolerance, disrespect, and hostility toward those they deem inferior. The arrogant individual is unable to recognize their mistakes or limitations because doing so would shatter their grandiose self-image. Their pride leaves no room for humility or self-reflection, making them unteachable. They reject useful feedback that could help them improve, and they struggle to form genuine connections, as relating as equals does not satisfy their need for dominance and recognition. Stoicism advises against the folly of arrogance, instead urging us to cultivate humility and recognize our human fallibility. Pride should come from living virtuously, not from inflating our own importance. As Marcus Aurelius noted, we have no right to pass judgment on others, as their natures are the result of their character and circumstances. Number 8. The selfish. Stoic teachings delve into the detrimental personality of the selfish individual. These individuals prioritize their own interests above all else, displaying a lack of consideration for how their actions impact others. Their perspective often revolves around the question, "What's in it for me?" This self-centered approach guides their decision-making, often leading them to pursue personal benefits without regard for the consequences on others. The selfish person tends to overlook the needs of others, taking advantage of them, breaking promises, and neglecting responsibilities that do not directly benefit them. They are willing to benefit at the expense of others, as their excessive self-interest blinds them to their social responsibilities. This behavior can result in a reputation for untrustworthiness and disloyalty. While selfishness may yield short-term gains, it often results in the loss of relationships and respect over time. The selfish individual's actions can lead to conflict and isolation, preventing them from experiencing the fulfillment of mutual care and support. Stoic philosophy warns against the pitfalls of selfishness, advocating instead for a focus on the well-being of others. Living in harmony with others and seeking to uplift them can bring more meaning and fulfillment than self-centered pursuits. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that tranquility comes from doing what is right and focusing on the welfare of others. Number 9. The stubborn. Stoic philosophy also warns against the stubborn individual, who rigidly adheres to their opinions without willingness to listen to reason or consider compromise. This inflexibility makes them challenging to engage with, as they insist on having things their way regardless of circumstances. They are often unwilling to consider alternative perspectives, advice, or evidence that contradicts their beliefs. The stubborn person's resistance to change and growth stems from their unwillingness to admit being mistaken or adjust their course of action. This rigid stance can lead to missed opportunities for learning and development. Rather than opening their minds to new possibilities, they cling stubbornly to their assumptions, hindering personal and intellectual growth. In relationships and collaborations, the stubborn individual's rigidity can be detrimental. Everything becomes a power struggle, with little room for mutual understanding or compromise. This attitude tends to alienate others, as interactions become dictated by the stubborn person's my way or the highway approach. Stoicism teaches the importance of flexibility and adaptability. While principles are important, it is wise to apply them with reason and openness to change. Refusing to adapt to new circumstances or consider alternative viewpoints can lead to stagnation and missed opportunities for growth. The goal should be continual improvement and the pursuit of truth, rather than clinging obstinately to one's ego. Number 10. The insensitive. This personality type lacks empathy and shows little concern for how their words and actions affect others. Insensitive individuals often fail to pick up on social cues or understand different perspectives, making them tone-deaf to the potential hurt, offense, or upset they may cause. They often plow ahead with their own agenda, oblivious to the impact on those around them. This insensitivity can lead to feelings of hurt, resentment, and devaluation in others. Despite the negative effects of their behavior, insensitive individuals often remain indifferent or unaware of the harm they cause. Insensitive people may use mean-spirited humor, offer blunt criticism, or display a callous disregard for others' feelings. This behavior erodes goodwill and trust, making it difficult to form deep and meaningful relationships. Their relationships tend to remain shallow because others do not feel safe being vulnerable around them. Stoicism encourages the development of greater empathy, compassion, and care in our interactions with others. While we cannot control how others perceive us, we can strive to engage with kindness and consideration. Thoughtfulness fosters understanding and community, while thoughtlessness leads to discord and isolation. As Marcus Aurelius stated, a wrongdoer is often unaware that he is doing wrong, highlighting the importance of self-awareness and empathy in our interactions. Number 11. The cynic. Cynical individuals, as discussed in Stoic philosophy, dismiss sincerity, idealism, and goodness as gullible or foolish. Their reflexive skepticism poisons hope and erodes community, as they assume the worst of people's motives and are scornful of virtues like honesty, compassion, and altruism, believing that no one genuinely upholds such principles. The cynic's default position is one of derision and distrust. This cynical posture often stems from past disappointments and serves to protect their ego. By rejecting virtue as real, the cynic avoids feeling naive for believing in goodness or let down when it fails. However, their skepticism can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, pushing people away and degrading what they doubt. The cynic's caustic remarks and heartless skepticism tend to alienate others. Their derisive humor and refusal to believe the best corrode human connections. Beneath their protective scorn lies a deep sadness about the good they feel cheated of. Stoicism teaches us that while evil exists, we must retain faith in our collective potential for virtue and goodness. Cynicism is corrosive, sapping our power to improve society. Though disappointed, we must remain open to sincerity and work together to increase justice and compassion in the world. As Marcus Aurelius stated, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This mindset prepares us to face the challenges of dealing with difficult individuals while still holding on to hope for a better future. Number 12. The manipulative. Stoic philosophy also warns us about the manipulative individuals who seek to exploit and deceive others for personal gain, often at the expense of trust and integrity. These manipulators approach interactions as strategic games, always looking for ways to gain advantages for themselves. They are adept at playing people against each other, distorting situations to suit their agenda, and forming false alliances to increase their influence. Manipulators often hide behind a facade of goodwill and sincerity, concealing their true intentions. They tend to form superficial relationships, discarding others once they no longer serve their purpose. Their actions prioritize personal gain over genuine connection, leading to a lack of trust and meaningful relationships. While manipulators may achieve short-term success through their cunning tactics, their deceitful behavior eventually catches up with them. People become aware of their manipulative nature and are less likely to trust or cooperate with them in the long run. Stoic teachings emphasize the importance of treating others with sincerity and respect, valuing them as equals rather than tools for personal gain. Genuine cooperation and meaningful relationships are built on trust and mutual respect, qualities that manipulation undermines. Number 13. The reckless. Stoic philosophy also cautions against the reckless individual who disregards consequences and takes unnecessary risks. These individuals often seek thrills and excitement by pushing limits and engaging in dangerous behaviors without considering the potential harm to themselves or others. The reckless person's disregard for rules and safety precautions can lead to disasters that could have been easily avoided with prudence and self-control. Their actions not only endanger themselves, but also impact those around them, creating crises that could have been prevented. Despite the harm caused by their recklessness, these individuals often fail to learn from their mistakes. They rationalize their behavior, avoid taking responsibility, and continue to indulge in risky behavior without reflecting on the consequences. This lack of discipline and accountability prevents them from cultivating wisdom and learning from their errors. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living rationally and courageously, but not recklessly. True bravery, according to Stoic principles, involves tempering boldness with reason to act virtuously, rather than engaging in hazardous behavior. Recklessness ultimately benefits no one and goes against our duties to ourselves and others to show disciplined self-control, face consequences, and learn from our mistakes. Number 14. The unprincipled. Stoic philosophy also identifies the unprincipled individual as a problematic personality type. These individuals lack integrity and moral standards, willing to resort to unethical and dishonest actions to achieve their goals. The unprincipled person is not bound by concepts of right and wrong. They are willing to lie, cheat, steal, betray, break promises, and harm others in pursuit of their ambitions. To them, the end always justifies the means, leading to an anything-goes mentality. This lack of ethical boundaries means they follow no inner sense of ethics or conscience. They have no qualms about deceiving those who trust them or exploiting people's weaknesses for personal gain. Other people are seen as mere obstacles or tools to be used and discarded. However, this unethical approach ultimately backfires. Once their duplicity is revealed, the unprincipled person becomes untrustworthy and despised. They leave behind a trail of disillusionment and damaged lives caused by their unethical actions. Stoicism teaches that true success comes from pursuing virtue and noble purposes. While worldly ambitions may come and go, moral integrity endures. It's essential to be willing to lose everything external before sacrificing inner principles. In the end, the unprincipled have nothing of lasting worth, as Marcus Aurelius stated. A branch cut away from the branch beside it is simultaneously cut away from the whole tree. To avoid falling into the trap of unprincipled behavior, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of cultivating virtues such as honesty, integrity, and compassion. These virtues not only benefit the individual, but also contribute to a more harmonious and just society. By following the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature, individuals can align their actions with universal principles of morality and ethics. This requires a commitment to self-awareness, self-discipline, and a willingness to confront and overcome the temptations of unethical behavior. Number 15. The vicious. Stoicism cautions us about the final toxic personality type, the vicious individual. These individuals take delight in cruelty, domination, and causing harm to others, which makes them profoundly dangerous elements in society. The vicious person perceives compassion as a weakness and finds pleasure in inflicting pain. They often act as bullies, intimidating the vulnerable to assert their power, or they may subtly torment others psychologically and emotionally. Behind their aggressive facade lies deep-seated sadism and insecurity. Their destructive behavior not only damages their relationships, but also poisons the community around them. By preying on the weak and showing no regard for the consequences of their actions, they instill fear and mistrust, leaving behind a trail of trauma and despair. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the interconnectedness of humanity. It teaches us that by harming others, we ultimately harm ourselves. Thus, it is imperative to resist the temptation of indulging in gratuitous cruelty, as it undermines the dignity and unity of society. True strength, according to Stoicism, is demonstrated through compassion and empathy, not through cruelty and dominance. The presence of such vicious individuals, especially in positions of power, poses a significant threat. Stoic principles urge us to confront and restrain those who take pleasure in causing harm. A healthy and flourishing society, Stoicism suggests, cannot tolerate malevolence. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, to harm others is to harm yourself. The vicious may appear to gain momentarily from their evil deeds, but in reality, they forfeit their own humanity in the process. Thank you for watching this Stoic reflection until the end. If any of these Stoic lessons resonated with you today, I encourage you to start a discussion in the comments. I value Stoic discussions, as they align with the teachings of great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. If you liked the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you want more content like this, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you find peace and serenity in Stoic philosophy.